if, uh, if whatever the business, if it's not useful to the people, why are they in business and how are they in business? That's something we have to look at. So what I would say is, just about everything that is successful is useful in some way. It is a tragedy that people who are doing it may not be conscious that they're useful. They may be just thinking of profit, profit, profit as the bottom line, but they don't understand or enjoy that they're creating something worthwhile for the world, which they're anyway doing. Actually, I must say this, the first time when I was at the Economic Forum in Davos, people were almost resentful. Why is a mystic attending a business meeting? I happened to be at a dinner table with someone who was a leading computer makers of the time, and he asked this question, "Why are you here?" So I asked him, "See, what's your business?" He said, "We are one of the largest computer makers in the world. They got bought over by the Chinese some time ago." So I said, "See, whether you manufacture a computer or a safety pin, the essential business is human well-being. It's just that you've forgotten, that's the only problem with you. Whether you make safety pin or spacecraft, it's still useful to the people, that's the reason why it's in business. But you have forgotten and because of that you suffer. If you were conscious of this, you would enjoy the process of doing it and maybe you would do better things than simply doing something that after 25 years you will regret or the world will regret that we did this." So business survives and thrives only because it's useful to people. So I don't believe that you have to be socially conscious on top of it. If you're not conscious, you won't survive. That's how I see it. It's just that they may not be enjoying that. They may not be enjoying that they are making a contribution to everybody's life on a daily life. I think they becoming conscious of that is important so that doing business doesn't break people in the end. That success is right now breaking up people. I see successful people carrying a lot more miserable faces than not so successful people. You will see not so successful people walking the beach and they're much happier. The very successful people are carrying stiff, rigid, long faces, and that's a wrong message because success is the sweetest thing on the planet. In human life, success is important. Right now, successful people are sending out a message that success is suffering, and that's bad. When that happens, the younger people will think, what is the point pursuing this? Smoking pot on the street side is better than being successful, at least we are happy. This philosophy will evolve. Once we have suffered this 40 years ago, we will again come to this if we do not send out the message that success is sweet and wonderful. And that will happen if they become conscious of the contributions that they're making. So many people who are trying to draw sustenance from the same dollar which is making the rounds. So when there is investment like this, being socially conscious, doing something which is not all about profit is difficult. People may talk about it, but when it actually comes to action, it'll become very difficult because the pressures of generating something for that many people who are eating out of that dollar becomes a certain process.
Absolutely.
And about you losing your friends. When you talk about an idea, which is a fantastic idea, but they may lose their money, you will lose friends. It may be a great idea, long term, but today they're going to lose their dollar, you will lose friends. And for this to happen successfully, all these long-term ideas, it needs a certain level of administrative or governmental support. It cannot be done by active money which has to earn today to pay somebody tomorrow. That money cannot do this work. Right now, all this is trying to be done by private investors, and private investment is on a fast track. It has to generate money, you can't keep it 10 years investment or 15 years investment of a payback schedule. It has to pay back in the 3 months or 6 months or 1 year. This is not just the investor's hurry because the money comes from elsewhere. Who is in a hurry? And there are too many people on the way who are in a rush. So, if these long-term ideas, which are truly wonderful for the world, have to happen, the government needs to invest in that, otherwise it's never going to happen. It's only going to be a talk because private money cannot do that long term. Private money will not go, it can't span itself that distance. If the speed of the money has to slow down, in many ways, our lifestyles have to change. The pressure of lifestyle is transmitting or transforming itself into demand and the speed of money. Just slowing down the speed of money, and if our lifestyles are at a certain pace, and naturally the pressures build up. So this is something that we have to bring into the society and the consciousness of the people, that there is a better way to live without necessarily escalating our lifestyle. If this has to happen right now, we are in pursuit of happiness. It is also written into the constitution that you have a right to pursue your happiness. It needs to be understood that all human experience is generated from within, whether it's misery or happiness or joy or whatever else, everything is generated from within. We are not at all investing in that dimension. If you sit here and you are happy by your own nature, suddenly you will notice that your activity is no more compulsive. There is no such thing as you have to do this or you have to do that. You will do whatever is appropriate to the situations in which we exist. Right now, people are in pursuit of happiness and there is a certain compulsive activity. To fuel that compulsive activity, the money has to flow at a certain speed and that speed is unrealistic. And something needs to be done about that because we are always trying to transform situations in which we exist. Not understanding situations are just a consequence of the kind of people that we are. We are never trying to transform the individual people, we are always trying to transform the situation. No, don't bother about the situation. Situation is just a product of the type of people that we are. If you transform the individual person, then the situation will naturally transform. But with the situation, you can just make a slogan and, network on the Facebook and forget about it. Individual transformation means it has to begin with you and you have to work with people. It's a long haul. Definitely you must fall in love, no question about it, because this is not for economic reasons, it's for the sweetness of your own life. You must fall in love. But with the Facebook and other things, why can't you fall in love with somebody in China or in Timbuktu? Why it has to be local? I feel localization of money would create a small oasis here and there, it'll never bring well-being to the larger world. If human beings have to get localized, right now I drove from San Jose and I started 2 hours early just to make sure that I'm here on time. And what I see is thousands of cars are moving this way and thousands of cars are moving that way. So people who are here are working there, people who are there are working here. And all we are thinking of is, I was driving in a Tesla, okay? All we are thinking of is producing a car which consumes less energy. We are never thinking of, why is it people who are here are working there, people who are there are working here? Why are they going in opposite directions every day? And either they can move to the right place and create those kind of cities where people can walk to their work or cycle to their work, or people can work them from their home. There is enough technology today that it is not necessary for everybody to go to work. Different kinds of modules can be created where you want to go somewhere, please go, drive. But you want to go to your work, which is an everyday thing. It is not necessary to be traveling 2 hours to work and 2 hours back. And you will see people are driving in opposite directions. They're not going… If the whole traffic in the morning is going one way and in the evening another way, understandable. That's bad, but understandable. Now half the population is going this way, other half of the population is going that way, it doesn't make any sense to me. Localization localization should be of the people. Money you must internationalize. If you ask me, at some point we must aim at a common currency for the whole world. Right now, because of the economic disparities, it may not be possible. At some point, there must be an international currency which just sells everywhere. And localizing currency, localizing money transactions, is a very romantic idea. It's very nice. Like there was an organization called Be the Change and they invited me to speak in this place in London and some 3,000 people from across the planet, and they were talking about how they want to take the world back to barter system, that all this currency, this financial markets, it's all fake. It is fake, no question about that, but it is serving a purpose right now. The problem right now is, before money becomes a productive process, in the pre-productive process itself, people are milking it hard. What you're saying is very true, that one person has more money than what rest of the whole population has, that's a fact. But what we also need to acknowledge is, wealth is more distributed today than ever before in the history of humanity. That's a fact too. So we're in a process, and about Beijing or Bangalore being local is happening, it's not yet happened. Right now, talking to somebody in Bangalore, you're feeling like, oh, somebody who doesn't know me is talking. But that will change too. You will feel Bangalore is a local place after some time. It is still new It is still new happening. There are people who are falling in love halfway across the world right now because of their Facebook or whatever, okay?
But he was embarrassed to tell me what time it was. It was 4 a.m.
Nothing wrong with 4 a.m. Please.
Not if you're meditating, but if you're talking about mortgages.
What I'm saying is, we have been used to certain things, but those things will change. As technology grows, I think a point will come, we don't know how far it is, a point will come where national boundaries won't mean anything. Because we are able to freely… If one person was not there, if Osama bin Laden was not there on this planet, if he did not exist, by now I think lot more transparency would have happened with technology. Right now we are using technology to wall us out, wall ourselves out. But we would have used technology to bring down all the walls if that one incident has not happened 10 years ago. That's how I see it. If that thing has not happened, we would have used technology to make the national borders porous. Right now we are using technology to make it impregnable. I think that is a one-time incident that need not repeat itself. We will get over that after some time. Right now everything is kind of framed around that one incident. I think at some point we have to get over that. When we started creating this World Trade Organization and things like that, the idea was to make the whole world into one single marketplace, not have different levels of markets. We have invested too much in that direction. But to get there, the journey is long. To get there, there are a few unpleasant steps that we have to take. When unpleasant steps need to be taken, when I say unpleasant, uncomfortable steps for ourselves, when we have to take it, if we turn around because it's uncomfortable, then the price will be even bigger. And the question of local markets existing by themselves, they'll invariably happen for certain products, but the larger financial market, if it is not leveled out, the disparities will continue, distrust will continue. Right now, the way the nations are operating is never with each other, always against each other, one against the other. When big forces continue to operate one against the other, the expense of it is too much. The expense of two or 5 different groups working against each other in the world is so high, the economic benefit will not reach the people, it is all spent in confronting each other at many different levels. This is a very complex confrontation. And the deputy vice chairperson of the Bank of China, I was having a conversation with him. When we went into the mechanics of it, it all comes down to enormous distrust from one nation to another. If that one thing is brought down, if more sensible leadership which reaches out, leadership which will not think there's a big difference between this and that, somewhere we have to meet and operate. The only reason is because there is economic disparity. If you try to level it, people who are up there have to come down, that is not possible. You have to bring up the other people to some reasonable level before we talk about leveling it. I think we are on the process. It is just that what type of people are handling these situations is the only question for me. If we transform the people, the system can work even now.